Hi. Um, this video is the first part of a series of videos that I want to do that are really about deconstructing um, the entertainment industry and my more than 30 years, more than 3 decades of working in that industry. And I'm still in that industry, but over the last couple of years, I've been changing my relationship to it and essentially stepping back and kind of finding a vantage point in which I can look at it differently. There's three things that I want to talk about today about the entertainment industry. The first thing is just the idea of the industry as a community and this notion that it is a community or a place like a basket that catches you as an artist. The second thing I want to talk about is what it means to have to move to a city in order to be in this industry and be leaving the place that you come from, whatever that place is, a homeland, particular state, particular town, another country. And then the third thing I want to talk about is just what it means to be an artist and to actually create, and what it means to maintain your relationship to soul and solo work and still be able to be an artist. So, the first thing that I would say about the industry as a community, and I'm going to quote Miranda July. I remember reading this in a Miranda July interview years ago. And by the way, Miranda July, if you didn't say this, I apologize because I remember it being you that said this. But there was an interview that I read where she was talking about the industry. And this is after she had done Me and You and Everyone We Know, a film that was a huge hit and premiered at Sundance, was just a phenom in terms of the impact that she had as an artist and a filmmaker and the film itself. But Miranda said in this interview, or at least I think it was Miranda, that the entertainment industry has a way of always making you feel that you're on the outside, regardless of how in the interior of this industry, so called community, creative bubble, it has a way of always making you feel as though you're on the outside. And I think that's really true. And even if you have been participating at a high level, I think there's always this sense that you're not quite in the inner circle of this particular, you know, industry that takes itself very seriously. And I'm also a big fan of all the work that the filmmaker Mark Vicente is doing right now, which is he's really deconstructing cults, because there is something about the entertainment industry that's quite culty. And honestly, all the places where human beings gather themselves, it just kind of gets culty. And so I think you have to find a way to navigate what that means and the qualities in terms of how people organize themselves with each other. But the industry, if you are a person that comes from the outside, and when I say outside, I mean a person that doesn't fit a perceived norm of what the industry is looking for. I'm not even saying I know what that is, but I'm just saying, for example, if you're a person who comes from a rural background, then it can feel very different to find a way to navigate your into this to navigate yourself into this epicenter that for the most part is grounded in these major cities in the world like Los Angeles and New York and London and so on and so forth. If you're a person that comes from a rural background, this is just my first example, it's challenging to find the way in which you can completely connect and relate. You have to shape yourself in that direction. And that isn't always the easiest thing to do. The second thing that I want to talk about in terms of the entertainment industry is this very idea of leaving where you come from. And, I think that if you, again, perhaps come from a rural background or a particular homeland, a tribal association, a cultural association, a connection to, if you come from a specific country, if you are from Mexico or Algeria or wherever it is, and you have to find the way into this in such a way that you can navigate the work at the highest level, that also can be very challenging. And I think that one of the things that's really important about that is that when you leave the place that you are from, and you are a person who comes from a place that has a very profound connection, whether it's land, community, culture, whatever it may be, there is an impact. There is a way in which it truly affects the being part of who we are, to leave where we're from, and to sort of be out on this limb trying to navigate connecting in this big world. And even if you come back and forth and you come home and you reconnect and you try and keep those ties strong, it still has an impact. That can mean, generational family. It can mean a connection to the elders in your family, grandparents, uncles, aunts, great uncles. It can mean a connection to younger people, nieces, nephews, community people. It can just take you away from a kind of, you know, ecosystem that is part of what shaped you in this life. And I think it's important not to underestimate the impact that that can have, truly. Obviously, I feel it because I made that choice and it did have an impact on me. And I'm trying to find the ways to weave it all back together, if you will. And I don't know if that's entirely retrievable, to be honest. Um, so I think that's something to take into consideration. The last thing that I wanted to talk about is just, having worked with dozens, if not hundreds of artists, and certainly hundreds if I include all of the mentorship work I've done and all of that, but the work I've done as a producer, I think that as an artist, it's really important to protect your soul. And you have to know how to do that. And I think this applies to the entertainment industry, whether it be film, music, fashion, whatever it is, any industry. I think you have to find the ways as an artist to create from soul and to protect your soul and to surround yourself with the people that really understand that and that protect you in that regard. And I know that for my own ethos as a producer, and I'm not even saying I've been successful at this every time, um, but for my own ethos as a producer, it's always been about understanding artists as creative beings and as those beings that are using their bodies and their soul as the instrument, and what it means to understand myself as a protector in that role, spiritually and otherwise. And so I think that the entertainment industry, being a firmly rooted capitalist industry, and that's what it is, and it's how people make money and continue, to move this industry forward as a system. But just to always remember, if you are an artist, to remain an artist and to stay whole in all the ways that you can, and to find those people that surround you and protect you. So this is part one of, I don't know how many little conversations I really want to have about the entertainment industry, because I'm in the process of deconstructing it within myself right now. And anyhow, thank you.